Robert Jenrick, who joins us now. It's great to have you on the programme. So what's your reaction to these two men being released by mistake?
Well, it's a total shambles. You've had, for the second, in fact the third time now, in 2 weeks, criminals being released accidentally from our prisons. And the last time, when a convicted sex offender who was due to be deported had been released accidentally from Chelmsford prison, David Lammy, the Justice Secretary, said that he was going to put in place the most robust checks ever. Yet what's happened? Another convicted sex offender, illegal migrant, supposedly due for deportation, has been accidentally released, plus a fraudster. And now you've got police forces, like the Met and Surrey Police, wasting precious resources, scouring our country to find these people and get them back into custody. And what did David Lammy do? When he was finally told about this, he didn't come clean and tell the public. We're told, in fact, he bragged at Prime Minister's questions that he went and bought a new suit. He went shopping instead of gripping his department. I think that's a dereliction of duty.
You think it's a dereliction of duty? That's strong words. What do you think the consequences of that should be then?
Well, I think he has to account for his conduct. He sent a junior minister out onto the media today, like a lamb to the slaughter, to explain. He seems to have disappeared. How can you be the Justice Secretary in the midst of a crisis in your own department and you go out shopping to buy yourself a suit? I've never heard anything like it.
Can I ask if you take your own share of the responsibility for the state of our prisons, right? Because, look, I get there's going to be political point scoring that's going to happen, but this is also a really serious issue in the prison estate. I mean, Wandsworth Prison is a good example of this, right? Wandsworth Prison has been a shambles for years, including under the Conservatives. Yes. I remember talking to the inspector who said it should be shut down. And actually, the latest report says they are trying to make some progress with a new governor. But do you accept that these are issues that have been stored up for years?
Look, I think the state of the prison service has been unacceptable for a very long time.
Including under the last
Conservative government, yes. The issue we're confronting here, however, is a distinct one, which is that the number of people, criminals, who are being released accidentally from our prisons has increased.
It has increased, but it's
dramatically.
It is part of the same issue, right? This is paperwork rather than a system that is put in place, a modern-day system. It is understaffing.
I'm sure all of that has.
Totally
I agree. I'm sure all of that has contributed to this situation, but over the last 10 years, the number of criminals being released accidentally has averaged 57 a year. Now, I'm not defending that. 57 is 57 too many. But there's been a 130% increase in a single year under Labour. Why is that?
It has also been going up for a while. So the last year of the Conservative government was 115, right? So it has been going up for a while.
It's risen in the last 2 or 3 years, but it's gone up by 130%. I don't know the answer as to what's happened. I can surmise that Labour chose to do an early release scheme that was botched, it was poorly planned, disastrously implemented, and that has created such an administrative burden on the prison service that they're now making these mistakes, not every week or every couple of weeks, as was happening before, completely unacceptable though that was, but on an almost daily basis. And this is endangering the public. And we've got to find an answer to it.
You were talking there about prisoners being released early. We've got the sentencing bill through as well. Police chiefs are warning it could lead to a 6% increase in crime. Are you concerned about that?
I'm deeply concerned. Look, when the sentencing review came out earlier in the year and the Labour government accepted most of its findings, the NCA, our National Crime Agency, MI5, the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, said that it would endanger the public. Now, the Labour government has chosen to proceed with it. They're going to be releasing criminals like thugs who beat people up or domestic abusers, having served only a third of their sentence. And that is going to lead to more crime on our streets, more sexual assaults, more rapes, more assaults, more crime out on the streets, because there'll be more criminals out on the streets. We should be building more prison places, absolutely. We've also got to get the foreign national offenders, of which there are 10,500 in our prisons, out of those prisons, out of our country, so we can lock up more criminals for longer.
Can I ask you something? So at PMQs yesterday, it was David Lammy, of course, because Keir Starmer was away. Justice Secretary, the Conservatives obviously had a line about justice. Why weren't you doing it?
I had a family emergency that meant that I couldn't do it, actually.
But you were actually going to do it. It wasn't...
I was asked if I could do it by Kemi, and I couldn't actually on this occasion. But hopefully there'll be another opportunity in the future. And I thought James Cartlett did a great job.
That does make sense.
He asked the question, David Lammy wasn't there to answer it.
Final question. Maccabi Tel Aviv, the Israeli football team. Of course, their fans aren't watching the match later today. There is going to be an increased police presence as well. The boss has been talking to Sky News today, who was talking about lies, hatred shared online about the fans of the club, although he did say there was work to eliminate racism. What's your take on what's going on? Was it the right call?
I think it was a really big mistake by the West Midlands Police and the authorities there to essentially say that they were not able to police a football match in our country and to keep Israeli citizens, British Jews who might happen to support this team safe in a part of Birmingham. That is a stain, really, on our country. There should be no no-go areas for foreign citizens or for people of certain religions in any part of our country. And when this was made public, the Prime Minister, the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, they all said they were aghast and they were going to do everything in their power to stop it from happening. And in fact, they failed, haven't they? That's the truth. No fans will be present. This part of Birmingham is now going to be known to many people in our country as somewhere that they shouldn't feel safe to walk the streets. And that's wrong. It's got to change.
Thank you very much for being on the programme.
Thank
Good
you.
to have you there. Robert Jenrick there, the Shadow Justice Secretary.